And I pray that something that's been said by one of the panelists, somebody here, has been inspiration for you to realize, as I said, that you can change your reality. They used to let me into Wormwood Scrubs prison to speak to black prisoners. We started a black prisoners group in there. In prison, when you have a class in the evening, they have classes, they may have pottery or Greek or something like that. If you get 10 people coming to your class, you got a good class, you're doing well. 10 prisoners coming to your class of an evening. Within 3 weeks of being in Wormwood Scrubs, we had 80 black men in that class. Within 6 months, the governor called us into the office, red-faced. We're terribly sorry, but we think you may be uniting the men, because they pay lip service to rehabilitation. But we have a track record of being able to take men off of that treadmill of recidivism, crime and punishment, and turning their lives around.
Content over everything.
And the mindset, I feel like the main thing that we've said today is that balance is key, innit? You get me? And even the brothers from Skengdo and AM said, you know what, now we've heard and we've been able, now that you've reached out to us, yeah, now that we've spoken with our people, it might just change something. You know what I'm saying? But what we have now,
and it gets watered and it grows.
What we have now is pockets of other youth that we haven't reached. We've got pockets of other youth that we haven't reached.
It's different generations. Like, you know, when man was flipping, when man started rapping, you know, we was doing the most out there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But man wasn't coming in with no valleys or none of that. Man was the face out.
Yeah.
This is what, now the youth, everyone got valleys, everyone, it's mad. Like, mask, like, to me, but I didn't want to be seen. I promised that's more than any of them.
They saw the birds, they saw the birds that man was doing.
No, it's not even that, bro. It's like, see me, fam. It's like, if you're doing one thing or the other, if you do music, do music. You don't need to hide your face.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be having to do anything else. You get what I'm trying to say? You shouldn't be having to do anything else. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, you shouldn't be having to do anything else.
But they're still living the life, so they still got.
I was still living the life, bro.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the point of watching the videos now. That's
they were watching our videos.
They watch every video.
They were watching.
And when you were spitting like man was saying, it was mixtapes. I used to listen to you.
No,
6 or 7 times.
We was on channel U.
I remember all of this. I'm saying it's more
getting blamed for all the shit.
You can watch on YouTube just like that. And the fact is, they ain't trying to be stopped and search and all the rest of it and the rats. So they'd rather not show the face. I think there's more factors.
And I feel like the main thing about the streets is to make it and get your family out. To make it some way. Yeah, this was what the streets was for me personally. And I would say that my reason for being there was real, because I wanted to make it and get out. You understand, fam? And provide for my family. That's why I was out there. You get me? And I feel like that's why most men are out there. If you ask them why they're out there, is to make it and get out. Now, man's making it and getting out by selling crack. Man's making it and getting out by robbing man. Man's making it and getting out by licking a grow yard. And then I find out that me just rapping in a booth, which is fully legal, can help me to make it and get out.
There you go.
And that means that I don't have to sell crack no more. Swear down. Because the main thing, what people don't understand, what people don't understand is when people, like I was on the grind one time and someone said, yo, Ras, what you doing? You're a Rasta man, like how you out here grinding like that? And I said, yo, bro, pay my rent. I had a bill coming up, so I had to get out. After I had to go out into the fields. I didn't have a choice. It's not something I wanted to do. I hate going out there. I hate the feeling of feds having something where they can enslave me.
We've all got a choice. We've all got a choice. We just got more ambition. We've all got a choice. Because next man will go job centre. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You don't have to go and commit crime. It's just that we got more ambition. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like some people, we've all got a choice. You don't have to do crime, bro.
Are we still on hip-hop?
You could go back to college, go back to...
Yeah, but I'm not talking about just living, fam. I'm talking about this society is a society that says if you do not own nothing, you are nothing. That's the society we live in. You understand? So I'm saying that if that's what the society is telling you, that if you do not have anything, if you ain't got Gucci, if you ain't, I don't believe in none of it, but if you ain't got anything...
I just don't like when people say that, oh, I had to do this, so no, you didn't.
You know what, let's bring it back.
So you know him. You understand?
You might have one, you get me? But I know there's definitely man, I know definitely there's man that had to do certain things.
They didn't have to. They didn't have to.
It's on the Q&A, yeah? Okay. All right. So any other questions? I missed a segment of it. Any other questions?
I mean, I don't know if it's a question or a statement or a point or whatever, but I'm listening. So, I mean, I suppose one I want to ask the panel, do you think it was a chicken and egg kind of situation? So what do I mean by that? Did the music
Egg
come
first or the chicken?
Yeah, did the music come first or the behaviour? Because I'm probably a little bit older than some of you on the a couple of years on the panel. So in terms of, so I can remember how hip hop started in England and how having the vibration of hip hop or whatever. And for myself, hip hop started in England with people like Public Enemy and that type of vibration.
Rodney P and them, man.
Rodney P.
Yeah, 100%. Coming back to what, you know, I think one of the first persons said about that sort of correlation with hip hop and Islam and so forth. So fight the power, all that.
Come on.
Okay.
Nation.
100%.
Ice Cube.
Well, yeah, we know, but how it started.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I'm putting forward is that I actually, it's my actual opinion that the music came before the action. Yeah, so what I'm saying is in England, I feel that the way in which youth are going on in England now is as a result of the music, not necessarily as a result of their I haven't finished yet.
I hope not, because otherwise.
So you know what?
Music's always been an expression, especially rap, an expression of your life. So from early, when you had that feeling sometimes of maybe wonder why you wanted to, or them old school times, that was what was going on for them then. There was a gutter, man was selling food, crack came in the scene. And that's happening.
Yeah,
now
but
it's
in
just
England,
continuing
what I'm
that.
saying is that
Unfortunately, things have got worse in the culture, so now they're talking about different things. The knife, but I don't feel like someone's rapped about a knife and the sun said, I'm going to carry a knife.
Hey, listen, who made Postcode Wars national? Was it the gangster rappers? It was the media, the news outlets that made Postcode Wars national when they started to, when there was a little 1-2 postcode, the Tottenham and
But then what happens when rappers perpetuating it by then talking about it?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're victims. They're victims because remember they're growing up and that's what they're seeing.
Always say that we're victims, man.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that.
I have mad respect for you, but you've got like there's always.
Fam, are you listening? No, you know what it's with me, fam. You know what it's with me. Let me show you what it's with me. Yeah, I understand what effective is. You understand? So me, for example, I know when man go out and I speak to them man there, I'm going to be at a closer place than someone else who was coming at them like that. I know how my brothers are. So when I'm speaking and I'm defending my brothers, it's because I know my brothers don't. I'm speaking in a way that I know is going to be effective in the long run. There's going to be conversations that I've had off camera. I remember off camera, man, there's going to be more fire. But I'm not going to allow the system to make this a gangs versus the consciousness and make us divide. That was my agenda for being on this panel today. You understand? So that's why I'm always defending the man them. At the same time, the man them, and they said themselves. That's why I don't even have to get onto them. Young Spray said, Skengdo said, 410 said, they said they're going to think about it. Young Spray showed you he's got it already in the toe. It's not like the man them have said, nah. We're just gonna.
The thing is, I'm gonna say back to you. I haven't come in to berate anyone or make anyone feel like they can't talk about what they want to talk about. I grew up listening to that type of stuff. That's just something I choose not to do. Everyone's life path, choice, whatever is completely different. Each to their own.
100%.
But I have to say this in terms of what this lady just said here. I feel a similar vibration in that. I think we're just following what has happened in the US. Like, alright, stuff's been going on in the streets, we got street crime, drug dealing, whatever. Yeah, that's everywhere around the world where there's probably we have those same problems. But the problem, no, let me finish, brother. Let me finish my point though.
No, but what you're looking at here,
guys, let him finish his point. When he finishes his point, the next man's speaking. It's a discussion. That's what we're here for, brothers. Otherwise I'll take it back.
In that, like, without going into too much about my background, Nana may have told some of you people off camera like what I've done. Sorry, that's me. That's the way I talk. Right? Anyway, it's like the music and the YouTube generation now, because young people are seeing, Oh, look, that guy grew up on my ends. Raw, I remember him selling drugs. Raw, I remember when he stabbed my man. Oh, Raw, look, he's made it off now. Raw, he's making money. I'm going to do that too. That's a great way out. Because you know what? I'm not seeing a doctor doing that. I'm not seeing a scientist or anyone else. I'm not seeing people like Nana going and rapping about what they're doing. But I'm seeing these man. So these are my role models. I'm going to take after them and what they're doing. I just want a little bit more balance. And I feel like the people that have all these 8 million, 10 million, X amount of views and got all this power, why is it out of 20 tunes you don't straight come out and say, boom, I'm going to be at this event, or consciously you shouldn't be doing that? Because at the end of the day, let's not answer questions. These music videos are making young people.
Yeah, brother, what did you tell me you done before? What did you tell me you done before, brother?
Wait, brother. Dads.
Aye.
Fathers.
Aye.
Yeah? Fathers. Only fathers can raise men. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? I had a single mother. My mother never done nothing bad, never broke the law, never done nothing. Brought me up right. I didn't have a dad to tell me, yo, or make me so shook up. From when I was 11, my mom couldn't beat me again. My mom beat me when I was Dad, come on, don't do that again.
But that was your life, and that's not the same for everyone.
No, but you don't understand what I'm trying to say to you.
Let's do
you don't understand what I'm trying to say to you. As far as role models are concerned, yeah, if you've got a father, that's your first role, that's your role model. You ain't got time to go and look down the road at who's selling this. Do you think my youth could come and tell me about, Dad, my man, I'm gonna fight? You stupid. Like, do you think you could tell me anything about someone else?
But right now, there might be a little,
You know what?
I got a question for you though.
His role model.
Brother, what did you say?
If he says I'm his role model, it's because he's got no father, bro. No, are you understanding what I'm saying?
Brother Leo.
But then you
We need more role models.
Respect. It's not a conversation.
Brothers and sisters, without discipline, we will. I mean, what I'm saying is that the conversation then just becomes academic. It becomes vanity. It just becomes people who just want to talk for the sake of talking. If we don't become more disciplined people, we're just wasting our time. We may as well, just go out on the street and have a conversation. The scripture says, in the beginning was the word. When we're talking about rap, we're talking about a word. Words are powerful. Words have meaning. You go home later to your partner, they say, man, you're looking so good today. I really love you. You soar. You feel good. You're elevated. You go home, they say, listen, terribly sorry, it's all over. We're done. You crash. Just a word. Just a word. If we want to underestimate the power of a word, which is where everything comes from, then that's on us. But understand this, brothers and sisters. The thinking comes first, the word follows, then the actions. That's the order of the universe. It's immutable law. Nobody can bypass it. So we have to think about the things that we say, what we do, because it carries power, it carries weight. This is in terms of the rap and so on and so forth. The scripture says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Not the lack of money, not the lack of a gun or a knife or anything like that, the lack of knowledge. We have been totally destroyed as a people. And again, if we don't acknowledge that, because I'm a Jamaican, I was born in Jamaica. And Jamaicans are some of the most arrogant people on the planet, because they will tell me, no, that already. You can't tell me no. Once you say that, you closed off every avenue of learning. We have to become humble again, brothers and sisters. The scripture says, lest ye become like a child, you cannot enter into the kingdom of God. And the kingdom of God ain't no place up in the sky. It's right here that you and I can make it for ourselves, or we can live in hell. You can have two people standing next to one another, one's in hell, the other one's in heaven.
That's it.
And the difference is just the way they think. That's all it is. Look, family, I'm saying this, look. Our ancestors, every person in this room, you are directly related to one of our ancestors who fought, bled, and died so that we could be here today. And if Bob Marley asked this question, are you satisfied with the life you're living? Do we really think that this is who black people are? This ain't us, man.
That you want more and more.
This ain't us.
You don't need that
And we can change this reality. We don't have to keep on saying, oh, yeah, I'm down, it's where I am, it's the ghetto, it's this. And this idea that somehow this money is going to allow us to get out. Get out and go where? Mike Tyson thought he had gotten out. O.J. Simpson thought he had gotten out. Frank Bruno thought he had gotten out.
Talk about getting out on the streets.
I understand, brother. But my point is that, see,
it's a mental slavery.
When are we going to own some streets? And we're not going to own those streets until we come together, and in particular as black men. I like that about fathers, bro. See, the word father is the same as the word further. And that's why when boy children get to age 10, 11, 12, 13, let me tell you something. People don't understand this, but they literally have a cutoff switch to their mother. You cannot tell them nothing, because that's where fathers are supposed to kick in. But unfortunately, as fathers, most of us are delinquent in our duty to our children. And we're missing. The black man today is missing in action. And I'm appealing to the men in this room, the fathers in particular. See, the young people, the young men, Ras he ain't that young, he's coming up now in age. But I'm talking about some of these youngsters that you see out there today. They are disillusioned because they can't see no black men. That's why they have to be running things themselves. And it's literally the blind leading the blind. But as black men, we got to take back charge. We got to stand up, we got to come together. If the young brothers saw the men, the fathers coming together and determining that we're going to do something for ourselves. Brother, you're right about the village. But guess what? We ain't got no village. There is no village. And that's our problem. There is no unity. I hear most of the talk here is about individualism. That's not even the psyche of black people. The psyche of black people is one for all and all for one. Alexander Dumas, who wrote The Three Musketeers, is a black man. He coined that phrase. In this society, they say, I've got mine, you get yours. We are now black people in skin color, but our minds are white. We think like white people. We act like white people. The things that we're doing today. I went into a nightclub the other day, brother. One of my daughters was singing, doing something there. I went there just to check out what's going on. And they were buying bottles of champagne, I think it was, for £300 with a fireworking at the top. No, but I think the most expensive one was £900. Fireworking at the top, like idiots, and then they're throwing the stuff around on the floor. I only saw white people do this. But this is how foolish we've become as a people, and we think somehow this means that we've arrived. Look, family, let me close it on this. I'm really appealing to us, yeah? Because I didn't come here today to cuss off no gangster rapper or no rappers or no negativity. What I'm saying is, there's room for all of it. When I was coming up, for instance, one of the albums that I used to want to go to war, and not go to war in a negative way, but one of the albums that fired me up was Biggie Smalls talking about Ready to Die. And that album was very negative in terms of the death culture that it promoted, but the beats fired me up. MCD fired me up. Yeah, give me the look. You understand what I'm saying? But because I was at the same time feeding on positive, I was educating myself, which is very important. We have to be feeding on a lot of positivity in order to be able to counterbalance that negative. But if the negative is all we're feeding on, believe me, you will, like a zombie, find yourself doing stuff and you're wondering, why am I even doing this? Because you don't understand how the subconscious works. And especially if you're emotional, especially if you're in pain. Anytime you're in pain, be it physical or emotional pain, and you listen to something like that, it influences you.
It's like a drug.
It influences you. It's very powerful. It's more powerful than drugs.
That's it.
Yeah, and you don't appreciate why you're doing certain things, why you're treating women the way we're treating women, but a lot of it's got to do with the lyrics and whatever. And so what I would encourage the brothers on the platform to do, who are music makers, producers and whatever, just be mindful of that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying to you now you have to go stitch up your whole thing and start as the brother said, a lot of the so-called conscious music, it's boring. It's boring. It's preaching.
It's the way it's packaged.
Yeah.
Right, so that's what I'm saying.
When I was listening to
so we got to package it. We
Yeah.
got to package it like how we package the gangster.
And then when we do that
beat's
we
got to be
support it.
tough. Of course. But that's going back to the village.
But
That's going back to the village. We can't support anything as individuals. We have to understand that for our survival, we need we need soldiers. We need soldiers. We need soldiers.
Come on, guys.
I'm finishing, brothers. I'm finishing. We need soldiers. I'm appealing to you. Come into the nation. Let's build an army. The enemy does not respect us while we remain a rabble. He only respects us when he sees that we are unified, when he sees that black men love black men. Yeah, believe me, that scares the life out of it. That's why Farrakhan is banned. Understand why he's banned. Because my background is 7 years in prison. That's my background. I used to be a banger. I used to dance in the club with the sawn-off shotgun over my shoulder under my coat. That's my background. I can't speak for nobody else. But Farrakhan's word transformed me. My first 3 children, when they were born, I was in jail. My last 4 children, not only have I been there at the birth, I've delivered them myself. That's the kind of transformation we're talking about. So, brothers and sisters, I'm appealing to you. Don't let this be some kind of argument against pro and con, against rap or for rap. It's not like that. We are family. We are brothers and sisters. Let's just recognize that and see how we can, instead of talking, can we unite? See this young brother here? He's here looking after me, taking care of me. That's my brother. We didn't grow up in the same vicinity or nothing like that, but the enemy recognizes that this is how we've got to become. Wow. Your group, brother. Powerful, awesome. And I want you to continue to build that, but you got to be trained. We've got to be organized. It's got to be done.
I hear you, yeah. But sometimes you see, like, this ain't no thing, yeah. But that's the tone that I was talking about, though. Yeah. You get me? Like, sometimes we got to be changed. You get me, fam? Like,
I know.
Sometimes you don't realize we might be doing it.
I know.
We might be doing it.
I know you are. But I want us to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, this is not about talking down to anybody. But what I'm saying, brothers and sisters,
got to be trained.
In closing, see, we don't need preaching, but we do need teaching. Believe me, the enemy is that man never treated us right. What makes us think that same man is going to teach us right? It's not going to happen. We got to teach ourselves. I thank you for allowing me to come here today. I said to my brother,
but we're not finished yet because we're gonna get the solution.
Okay, but I've been really trying to listen, and I'm really appealing to us that this subject is much bigger than just music.
That's it.
There's a lot more. You have to look into the food. There's so many that have been attacked.
You're at a point that saying if you
there's a lot.
music, it's too much.
100%. Yeah.
The music is just one aspect of a wider conspiracy.
Because I've come on such pro my brothers from that start. I'm going to tell you what I do now, innit? So, like I'm we've got the Hustlers Holy Book here, Hustler Far Right. This is one of our brothers' brands in the movement and Rare Tete, you know what I'm saying? But basically, like, for me, I was one of them, when I came into consciousness, I started to do the young spray, you should rap like this, and I started doing that pointing thing too. If you go back to my Rebel Line stuff, the music was a lot more preachy. But one thing I realized is when I was linking up with my brothers, there was a distance between me and them now, you understand? And that distance, it wasn't helping the movement, you understand? So, and then I went through something that brought me straight back to where my brothers were, to the same thing. So man was laughing at me saying, yo Raf, he said you left but you're back, you understand? So basically, that's what's brought man on this journey. And what I realized is instead of telling Young Spray or telling AM or pointing at anyone else and telling them what to do, I said I've got to be the change that I want to see. You know what I'm saying? So I started making music like that. Even though I know, just like the Young Spray said, they're not going to play my music in that's how they feel. That's how he feels. He said they're not going to play it. But at the same time, I've got a little bit of faith because I hear them playing Kendrick Lamar. It's going to be all right. You understand? So I know that there's a lane that hasn't even been carved out in this country. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like everyone, I feel like everyone's been scared to try and actually go the full way. So that's what we're trying to do, and it's not an individual thing. We've got a whole organisation or a whole movement or brotherhood or ideology or sisterhood called Gang, guiding the new generation, generating a new government, giving niggas guidance, or Global African National Gathering, whichever acronym suits you the most, you know what I'm saying? But so basically, it just started out of our different brothers from different gangs, yeah, but in every gang you got a brother that loves his people, yeah, loves his people enough to want to do something about when Edson died, want to do something. So we got different brothers from them different ends, and basically it's just brothers coming together. There's no leader, there's no head. I'm one of the spokesmen, but there's many spokesmen. You get me? When we all come together, we all come in a circle, and we hear everyone's voices, and we make a choice. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a oneness, and when we first done it, we thought it was just going to be 5, 6 brothers. Like, we didn't expect nothing. Bro, like, the thing went viral. We see all 50 to 100 people coming down to the thing. Like, we were surprised. It was at Speaker's Corner. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't even expecting that. So that's allowed us to mobilize in 4 ways. So now we've got the Gang Unite, which is the brothers, the original brothers from the roads who can now go back to these ends. I've got 20 to 30 brothers that come from there that can now go back to, come on, I feel your energy anyway. I know you've had the vision as well. Yeah, we can actually go to these ends, yeah, and we can do what we've done with Skengdo and them, and we can just reason so they can see something else. So they might just rap about us moving through their end. They might just rap about it. On top of that, we've got something called Gang Arts, where all of the different artists who do rap about these things that we say we want to hear, who do try and make that sort of music, and we're getting producers and visual editors and all of them in to create content of this stuff. But the problem is we don't want to create content and it has to look, the conscious thing always has to look bummy. You understand? It always has to look like it's in the 80s, like in the 90s and everything up. So we want to try and make it look as good, look as 2019 as possible. Yeah, so that's the Gang Arts. Then you've got Gang Businesses, which is different businesses within the community coming together and being promoted. And then you've got Gang Promotions, which is the people who just want to, you know, the people that are saying, yeah, I want to support. So they go and write a gang when we release something to show the online. So it's basically, it's organized itself into a body. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's a real body, and we've got the real brothers there and all the brothers in the Gang Unite thing. The reason why they're there is because they just want to march down to the end. They don't want to talk, they don't want to come to none of these meetings, they don't want to stand up in Hyde Park. But when you man are ready to ride out, ring me. It's them G's, you know what I'm saying? So like that's so like I just want the people to know that as much as I'm talking here, there is a lot of work and action that's been going on in the ground, and it's just for the community, you get me? So yeah, guys.
Any other solutions? Mr. RTM, what do you think? What do you think the solution is to curb?
Solution to what?
To curb, no, not the music. To curb. We're here to talk about, is there a connection between the music and what's going on in the streets? We realise that it's bigger than the music. Yeah? I'm one of the main people to say the music is a symptom of the issue. Yeah, you understand? So I'm not here to whatever, but what I'm saying is, in terms of all your fans, all your fans that are, you know, listen to your music, what would you say is the solution to what's happening on the streets? How can we put a stop to it or restrict it? What's your opinion?
No solution.
There's no solution?
Be better dads.
Okay. There's no solution. You just need more people to look after their kids, that's about it.
That's the solution?
There's no solution. There's no solution.
So there's
God's the solution, innit? There's no solution.
God is the solution?
What solution?
Okay.
I'm trying to say, I don't know.
Okay,
What
Mark, what do you think?
Me personally, education, I think that you will still get educated. But so he's kind of saying it's time to the parents to educate their children. I feel like personally.
Fathers, that's it.
Well, parents in general.
What about those that don't got fathers?
Mothers. What about your parents? I feel like it's down to your parents. It's down to us as adults who are parents to educate our children, those who aren't, to educate themselves. So I think there's a lot to do with education. Yeah,
okay.
And individual choice.
Yeah,
so,
love that. Russ?
The solution?
Yeah. I mean, you really talked about what you're doing.
Okay.
But any other talk?
You know what? Yeah. I think the solution would go with a lot of what Leo Mohammed talks about, because I personally believe that, I believe that, you know, the slave master, when he used to break the revolutionary out of you, I feel like when I'm talking now, I'm talking with the spirit of Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, and these are Malcolm X, Khalid Muhammad, and these are ancestors that fought for our freedom, you know what I'm saying? And my main thing with this whole new generation thing is, I believe the reason why our generation was F is because the elders, we always say the elders didn't do anything to change our situation, you understand? But the elders, and I used to cuss the elders, you understand? But then I looked around at my brothers and said, we're the elders now. Can we get together and can we change it? And what I realized with a lot of my brothers is, I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? Not even a lot, but there's a small amount of my brothers. I don't know whether it's ego that we have amongst each other, as in linking up as brothers. I don't know whether it's a lack of faith in us in our own power, but it feels like the main problem we have with this whole thing is that we won't embrace it in our minds and our hearts. There's something stopping us. So when I go from ends to ends and I say, yo brother, do you think we could stop this gang thing? Man say, yeah. We wouldn't mind it to stop, but them man over there wouldn't have it. And then they point me to them man over there, and then they point me to them man over there, and there's an invisible them man in our head. But I feel like if all of the artists, all of them tomorrow, if they all said, boom, we're gonna do one event for the under 12s, you understand? And they all actually went out there. I'm talking everyone, you know what I'm saying? Everyone, the old school man, the new school man, that would change the situation. That would cause such a big influence, because as a young G, if I saw these men come together, it would have been like, yo, the world's changing. Because you man was literally forming man's world. So if we saw the movement, boy better not. If we saw all of them names come together and all of them man want to say to us is, yo, just don't get him, you hear the man rapping about it, but just don't live that life, innit? You get me? Try and live a better life than we live, you get me? If just that is going to have such a big influence, and I feel like sometimes the brothers won't even know how much of an influence that would have. And I feel like that's what we should be here to remind each other.
Yeah, but that can't always happen, you know. There's beef.
Yeah, there's beef.
People die from. So that's like saying, I wish we could return.
No, brother, are you listening? Care to what I said though. Let me just, because you just said something. Let me just respond to it. I hear exactly what you're saying, because my main thing is obviously my brethren just died and no one can't really, you get me? But my thing is, with the 12-year-olds and down, if we're doing it, I'm saying that's something that's directed at the young G's, because the young G's haven't had those deaths. They haven't had to go through those things, and a lot of them have got the common sense to know that they don't really want to live like that. At 12, 11 years old, they've all got that common sense inside them. So I'm just saying that right now, they've got that common sense inside them, but they might go out into the world, and just like our common sense or our life, it might get tarnished. So if we put something there to tell those 12-year-olds, you man stop the thing, then we might be able to change it in a period of 5 years, 10 years. The 17-year-olds, the 20-year-olds will have a whole new mindset, you know what I'm saying? So it's a forward-thinking plan, because that's how they got us. They think 5 years ahead. So that's what man's thinking, 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead, you know what I'm saying?
Just very quickly on that point, because I do hear that, brother. I have heard that on numerous occasions about the beefs and what's happened, the history, and brother, let me tell you something. America dropped an atom bomb on Japan. They're now allies. The Russians lost over 20 million in the Second World War. They're allied with the rest of the world, who used to be their enemies. The Irish and the British fighting each other, killing each other like it was going out of fashion. They're now united.
Brother, let me. The pain is still there.
I understand that, brother. I know the pain is there.
And it will erupt one day.
I know the pain is there, but you see, brother, in truth, there are no rivers of blood between any of us. Random killings and revenge attacks and whatever, but that does not constitute anything like what these people have done to one another, yet they understand. Listen to their language, brother. The United States of America, the former Soviet Union, the European Economic Union. Everything that they taught, brother, is unity. We're the only ones. Look at what we're divided over, brother. Postcodes. And not one of us own one of the streets that we're fighting over. Come on, man. These are irrelevancies. Somebody asked me, oh, do you know why your nephew got killed? I said, I don't have to know. Because he got killed for no reason. There is no reason that you can tell me that you would take a shotgun and put it to the head of a 14-year-old, that you can justify, say for instance you said, he thieved 5,000 pounds from me, or he did this, or he did, come on, man.
If you really
Come on,
sister,
man.
though,
Come on. Well, yeah, if you raped your sister, that's a different. That may be a good day to die. I appreciate that. When it comes to our women in the nation, we're very precious. We're very precious. But the point I'm trying to make is that we can squash all of these beefs, brother. Of course. And we can come together. This is the point. But as black people, you got to understand the Willie Lynch syndrome. Yeah, we've been taught self-hatred. It's been beaten into us over centuries, and it's going to take a particular type of methodology to get that out. 100%. And so the program that we have in the Nation of Islam, it's called self-improvement, the basis for community development. If we're going to become nation builders again, each one of us has to make a commitment to improve self. It's not about pointing the finger outward at somebody else.
Definitely.
What are you doing to make the nation better by improving yourself? And that's where it begins, in my humble opinion. Yes, sir.
The young lady's got a point.
I just wanted to give a comment. All of the stuff that you're saying sounds great. It really, really does. And I'm learning a lot. But can I just ask that we start at the beginning with semantics? I'm hearing you talking about brethren. I'm hearing you talking about mandem. I'm hearing you talking about OGs. And don't put these labels. If you're going to be taking your message about your truth and whatever it is out there and saying to young people, okay, this is what we're the elders now, this is what we had to go through, don't live that life. Give them a new name. Don't refer to them as little G's, mandem. Okay, if you're using the word brother, I'm just saying there's a lot of power. Hold on a minute. If they're saying there's a lot of power in words, yeah? It's what you're calling them as well. Subconsciously. My son doesn't know anything about being an OG. And then he's going to go onto the street to find out. Don't call him an OG or him over there.
You might know, you might just not know that he knows.
I hope he doesn't know.
You get what I'm saying?
I hope he knows, but and knows enough to avoid it.
He has to come home like an angel and leave like a devil.
Well, no, he's he just. I'm just saying the words, just the words.
I hear the point that's being made about the words, yeah. But my main thing is, yeah, like. It didn't matter what words you lot was using, like, we're just with our brethren, you know what I'm saying? So by the time you hit year 7 and year 8, like, it's just there. There's no change in all of that, because that's languages. That's why when my brother said da-da-da, when he said, oh yeah, this gang life da-da-da-da, yeah? Because if you haven't come from where we've come from, and I feel like that's where the biggest dichotomy is gonna be. The people that have come from it, so like when my man said da-da-da, and my man over there said, what do you mean da-da-da-da? Because he's been through it, and my man hasn't been through it. You can kind of tell my man wouldn't have been through it in the same way that them man there have been through it, just from the things that's coming out his mouth. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is just a language that is being used like it's like this system. They've got their own code of conduct and their own ethics. But let me go back to the what you were saying about the violation, because obviously with the squashing of beef, I would never go and tell man them to squash. I'm not even trying to speak to man about that. What I'm talking about is unity. I feel like
I squash beef.
Yeah. No. I'm saying, fam.
What's the point?
If I talk about squashing beef,
what's the point?
no, listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm not gonna go to a next man who I do not know. I'm not gonna go to you over there and tell you to squash your car. I don't know you from Adam. If it's my brethren like what you done, then obviously I've squashed.
They're not my brethren, fam. I'm a big man.
No, but I'm telling you, I've got
on my end that was shooting each other.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I've got brethren who was beefing, and we've squashed plenty of beef. That's what we do. That's the main thing of BFBP, squashing beef. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is I'm not gonna go and tell man that. What I will tell man, yeah, because sometimes you don't have to talk. For example, with Mark Duggan, no one didn't have to say nothing. It was just a natural thing. You understand that happened? The man then from Wood Green in Tottenham, they wasn't beefing on that day. The man then from Hatton, they wasn't beefing on that day. It was unsaid. No one didn't have to say nothing or tell them man to squash beef, but there was a feeling of unity. So what I remind the man them is if we cannot sleep on the violation of what our brother over there done, then how are we sleeping on the violation of what the system has done to us? How are we sleeping on the violation of how they've treated our parents? How are we sleeping on the violation of the discrimination that we get on loans? How are we sleeping on the violation of how we're treated in the education system? How are we sleeping on, so when we're talking about violation, this system has been for over 500 years, and it will continue, been violating us. You understand, fam? So what I'm just saying to the real G's is if man is real G's, then man's gonna deal with the real ops first, you get me? And then, and obviously that thing there, as man's focusing on the real ops, then that thing, it might fizzle out and become less relevant. You know what I'm saying? Because we're so hard on that police to police UK.
Can I just say?
Sorry, bro. Love that.
Can I just say very quickly in terms of solutions, brother, that as parents we do need to look at the school system, because the schools we're trying to fit. It's like, say you mentioned your child is a round peg, and we're trying to put it into a square hole. They don't fit. The education system here was never ever designed to educate black people. So all the time you're forcing these children into these schools, and you keep getting all these phone calls and all these reports back, and your child's this and it, ADHD and this and that, and your young boys are being labelled, and they always seem to be in problem in these schools. That's because the school was never ever designed for black children. Understand this. Prince Charles, according to him, the schools are failing white children, much less ours. That's it. Come on, man. So first of all, we need educational systems of our own. I'm part of maybe I'll show you afterwards. It's in my coat. But we run something called the WYLA, which is the West London Young Leaders Academy, where we take black boys from the age of 8 up to around 16, and we try to bring out their leadership qualities to save them from going on those streets. And we got lots of people in the black community doing Saturday schools and whatever, but it's not enough. We actually need to be thinking in terms of a brand new education paradigm where we actually have our own school system. If we're not thinking like this, we don't understand history and we don't understand what we got to do. School, that's important. Social media. See, as parents, you got to be back on top of your children, man. I'm sorry, I don't care how vexed my children's faces are. I need to know what they're looking at on social media. As a parent, it's your responsibility. The word parent is you pay the rent. You're paying the rent, so while they're under your roof, you do need to force yourself back into their lives. The government is trying to force you out of their lives, and social services and all the rest of them, they're doing a job, man. And before long, you ain't gonna have no rights over your own children. We've reached that stage already. But still, you've got to have, if you're a man, you've got to develop the testicular fortitude to be a man and force yourself back into your children's lives, because it's important. Social media is running them now. Look, man, drugs and alcohol, I implore you, go on YouTube or go online and check out Dr. Wesley Muhammad in terms of what Dr. Wesley is saying about what they're doing to the drugs. The weed that you're smoking today ain't the weed we were smoking back in the day.
It's not weed, full stop.
It ain't weed. I'm telling you, it is chemically enhanced to drive you out of your mind. It's killing our people.
Not the high grade with the rest of them.
Leave the high grade. Believe me, but you see, even the Rasta. Look, even the Rasta man. More time am I smoking things, and he's still mixing it with the cigarette. Everybody talks about cigarette, and they're saying, "Oh, nicotine." Let me tell you something. Nicotine is one of the most harmless chemicals within the cigarette. There are 4,000 chemicals in the cigarette. And most of them kick up nicotine. Nicotine is just nicotine. Yeah, go. No, even better, boil it. No, even better, if it's pure, boil it and drink it. It has medicinal qualities. But smoke and the human metabolism are incompatible. That's why if you're walking and something a bird, the first thing you do is cover your, because it's not. But look, the first time we tried to smoke, the first time we tried to smoke, I've got to tell you the truth. The first time we tried smoking, what happened? You coughed your head off, man, and you said, "Boy, that thing is nasty." But then the next day you tried it again, and then yeah, not too bad. And then the next thing you know, you blow smoke ring. Next thing you can talk of it in the corner of your mouth. So now we think it's natural. It's not natural. Right. It's not natural. We've learned something unnatural. Check out Dr. Wesley and see what they're doing with the drugs and how they're chemically enhancing it. Fast food and drinks. All the new drinks that come on the marketplace, they're aimed at us. And we go and buy them.
Sugar.
You could not pay me to put something called Red Bull into my mouth. You couldn't pay me to drink something called Monster. All of these drinks, all of these things, these newfangled things that come, see, black people are drinking, and even the expensive alcohols that they, no,
Red Bull got me.
It's deadly, brother. It's deadly. It's deadly. They're chemically, and by the way, you know, I'm going to touch this because I have to tell you the truth. I've got to be a truth teller. They're chemicalizing food and drink to literally transform people into homosexuals as well. So that the male gene is being destroyed and the female gene is being enhanced, and in reverse with women. So women are becoming more masculine while men are becoming more feminine. And we're losing our masculinity as men based on chemicalized attacks by the food industry. And this is going on big time. And if you don't believe me, because a black man, I say, check out Mike Adams. Mike Adams, who is a biologist, chemist, who is a Caucasian man, who runs a website called naturalfood.com. Check him out and hear what he's saying about what they're doing to black people with vaccines and all the rest of the chemicalization. They're killing us, targeting us, because do you know that they have an agenda? That by the year 2050, there has to be 4 billion less people on the planet? Do you know that this population thing that you hear, what's his name now? What's his name? William, Prince William. He's now talking about population control because George Soros, Bill Gates is the number one. He's all over Africa injecting black people, killing them. This is real, brothers and sisters. They have no intention of you and I taking our birthright, which is the future leaders of this planet. I want you to hear me. It's written. Black people are to be the future leaders. The Caucasians are actually now living in our time. Them time finished, it's done. They cannot be successful in nothing again. But if we don't have the education and the knowledge to know that it's our time right now, then we're gonna go out big time. So please, family, look into these things. With guns and knives. Look, man, they're shooting each other with MAC-10s now. Where's the MAC-10 coming from? Uzi in Allstars one day, they were spraying a Uzi submachine gun. We don't make Uzi.
We don't provide or distribute. We don't distribute anything.
Right.
We don't distribute the drugs on the highest level. We don't distribute the guns on the highest level.
We don't even make knives.
The guns on the highest level. We don't. So it's not coming from our community.
Right. But the point is, you got to understand, it's not happenstance that it's in the black community. It's by design, and they know who we're gonna shoot. We're not gonna shoot them. We're shooting us. Please, family, let's look into these things, and I'll close on this. Check out Robert Kennedy, one of the Kennedy sons, because he talks on the vaccines. One of my daughters is now 25 years old, and when she was born, I said, no, I'm not vaccinating my children. And all of them who have been born since then, not one of them has ever had a needle stick into them. Understand what's happening. And one of the doctors from the CDC, the Center for Disease Control in the United States, he came out as a whistleblower recently to say that they've targeted with the MMR vaccine black boys. And children are going into the clinic healthy, getting the injection, and then that's it. They're finished. Okay? This is real. So be very careful who you allow to put needles inside of you. I was invited to go to the Congo to talk to our people down there. They told me, oh, Leo, you got to have an injection. I'm not going to Congo. It's not happening. I've been to Africa, I've been to Zimbabwe, I've been to these countries, and I never had to put no needle, and nobody ain't going to put no needle in me to go back to my place. And by the way, all this yellow fever, and you don't get them things if you are clean. Be careful what you're putting inside of your body. Some of you drove up here today, and you drove up in a car that said unleaded fuel only. And not one of you who did that would ever dream of going into the petrol station and said, what? Try some paraffin today. I remember just try some diesel. You wouldn't do it. But we as a people, if you watch me, I've been going on stage for nearly 35 years, performing and doing different things. And every time I go to a theater or something like that, there's a green room. In the back, there's a green room, and in the green room, food, drink. Never, not once have I eaten from one of them places. I'm very disciplined about what goes into this. And you got to be this is your temple, man. Don't just put anything, you walk street, man said to you, you want a biscuit, you take it and eat it. But you wasn't even hungry. Don't do it. Be careful about what you put into this. This is, Bob Marley said, my feet is my only carriage. This is your vehicle. Your body is your vehicle to get through this life. protect it, family, because you can't afford to get ill and go into these hospitals because they take you out. So I'm appealing to us. I'm just saying some of the solutions. We've got to become, there's a word. The word is punctilious. Punctilious. And what that word means, it's attention to detail.
Don't like the start of that word, man. No punctiliousness.
No. Punctiliousness. Yeah. The word means attention to detail. We got to become the people who. Yeah, we got to cross the T's and dot the I's more, man. We got to be on it, man. We got to be much more careful about ourselves and one another,
be more disciplined
and be more respectful of one another. And you know what I mean. Even though I may not agree with everything that brother has said, but guess what? That's my brother, man. That's my brother. And we got to get to that vibe whereby don't get all crazy against one another because we disagree. Yeah, mind the ego. It's bigger than all of us. This is bigger than all of us. And so, family, I really appeal to you. Look at this prison industrial complex. They're privatizing the prisons. The prisons are full of black people. I've been in there visiting our people. And I'm telling you, man, they are full of black people. Man. The mental institutions, full of black people. I was working in Broadmoor because I'm a plasterer as well. I can earn some money doing that kind of thing. And I was plastering cells in Broadmoor. And I was shocked. The place for the criminally insane, full of black people. And I said, my God, do we actually know what's going on in this place? Up north, black man can talk like that. Hey boy, wants to say something. And the prison officers who are northerners, they understand every word. When man a chat pure yard, he doesn't have to get a translator because that's how regular black people are within the system. Hey boy, I want piss but take off. And the prisoner, all right mate, all right. He understands, because it's home from home for us now.
There's definitely an agenda and been an attack, and obviously I'd say that's definitely right through slavery, you get me, up until now.
It's never changed, it's never ended.
That's what I'm saying, right through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think, if you take it back, I'm a bit older, I'm a bit younger than Marnie, it's a systematic plan against us. It's always been against us. It's been against us from Maggie Thatcher days. It's been against us. And more effectively, when we all come together because of Mark, and they realise they don't like it.
Come on.
Social media, we run it. What we set, we run the trend.
Come on.
They all follow. Now, there is no one singular solution to our problem. It's a combination of solutions. The first one is love. Look at your brother, what's going on, bro? That's the first thing. We got to love each other and check for each other.
Come on, brother.
That's what we got to do. Also, I'm not going to get into it, but let's look at other communities around us. Let's just do that. I don't hate anyone, but let's look at other communities. Up the road, there's a very massive Jewish community. They have their own schools.
Come on, brother.
They have their own hospital. They have their own doctors. Their own police. They don't rely on the white man for nothing. They support it themselves. That's theirs. Themselves. Their money. Their money circulates around them.
Come to my ends and show me the money.
Look at the Asian community.
Who's got the money on?
Look at the Asian community.
Just come to my ends.
Look what they're doing.
Walk up and down.
They stick together. We are the only ones who don't stick together. We're the only ones who look at each other. Now we say, what's that pussy you're looking at? That's wrong. It's for us to come together. Once we get together, everything else will fall into place. The worst killer around us, them dirty chicken shops. Go in there every lunchtime, see what kids are in there.
Come on, brother.
It's our kids.
Chemically
eating rubbish. 24/7 rubbish.
Guess why? Because it's cheap.
There you go. And they're targeting us.
Go to the yard for
and they're targeting us.
And £5 for a box of strawberries.
Yeah, but they're targeting us. Because anywhere you go, near a school, the chicken shop is right next door. They target us. So it's down to us to come together, like Brother Ahmad said, and educate each other, show each other love, and stick together and sort this thing out. Right, we can't say knife crime. Knife crime's been going on from day one. This is the difference. I'm a big man. I used to walk with a knife. My thing was, I want to stab you. I'll cut you in the face though if you try it. But this thing is escalated now these youths are taking this thing and they want to embed it into a next man's chest. That's a different thing. That wasn't in our style. Yeah? You get your head bossed back with a bottle, different thing. But again, it's a combination of things, not one thing. It's not just the music. Like you said, Spray touched on it. It's the games they're playing, the Call of Duty.
That's right.
It's other games they're playing.
Grand Theft.
Grand Theft Auto. So it's these things are aimed at us. It's down to us to sort it out amongst ourselves. No one's gonna help us with our problem.
Come on, brother.
We hold up the prison system.
Come on.
We hold it up. If there was no guns, there would be no Trident.
Trust me.
We keep them in power. We do it. Now they transfer it onto the knife. Who's keeping power? We do it. I've got a sister, a friend, she works in the hospital. She says 27 young people, black boys, come in the hospital every day from the age of 14 to 18 with fatal stab wounds. Every single day. No day off for Sunday. That's every day. Black boys. And what's going on now? The boys that come into the hospital and they're trying to finish the job. They come in, the hospital have to get security to back it off. That's what's going on. At the moment, we are in an epidemic of the knife crime. It's down to us to sort it out. It's down to us as a bit older, seeing youth misbehaving and say, yo, you man, young lion, what are you dealing with, man?
I'm saying it's an epidemic, bro. It's just been the same, fam. They're just highlighting it more now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, regardless,
don't get it twisted. For their own reason, they're highlighting it more now. You understand what I'm trying to say? Don't think the road streets are more dangerous now than it was when man was coming up.
Nah, not at all.
Then you're going crazy. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Man was in gunfights, bro. Like, what are you talking about? It was very and they weren't highlighting it then, like how they highlight it. They've got their own agenda why they're choosing to highlight it now. That's their agenda. What they've got.
Well, I think they had the mothers against guns thing, but I feel like regardless of what the agenda what I'm saying is regardless of man saying the streets are calm, what man's saying is one youth is too much. As far as I'm concerned, it might be calm for you lot that we're burying youths, but I'm saying that one youth is too much. I've got a mum, like, you get me? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying man's out here for the little young Spray so he can get to the point where young Spray's able to be here saying it's calm. Because he might die before he gets to that point. Do you know what I'm saying? So my main thing is like, if we're talking about like on a solution thing, we've just got to think, if there was a slave master or an oppressor, young Spray, what do you think he would want us to be thinking right now?
Hear what? I'm not born here. I'm born in Dominica. This is petance. See what's going on over here? It's all exaggerated to me. This is petance. It's calm, fam. You get what I'm trying to say? It's calm.
But fam,
see where I'm coming from?
But I'm saying, fam,
what I'm trying to say. This is calm.
Exactly.
What I'm saying, brother.
Are you saying then that because some things are worse elsewhere?
It's a foolish. That's a foolish analogy. One black youth's life is priceless. Your son, you'll say it's calm until it's your son dead, and then you say it's not calm anymore. Then you want to go and ride out and lick down whoever killed your son. So what I'm saying is it's not ever going to be calm. And what I'm saying is even if it gets 10 times better in 5 years, it's still our duty as black men. Duty, I'm talking duty as black men, to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to make it get 10 times better from that 10 times better. You understand? So it's not about how hard the situation is. If the situation completely ends, it's our duty to make sure that we maintain that. You understand, fam? So what I'm saying is we have a duty as men, and we can't run away from it, bruv. You get me? Because when we look each other in the eye, that's when it's going to be that time. And when the young G's are looking at us, I know for a fact, your son, every one of your sons looking at this, they can look at it and say, you know what? Ras is trying to fight for my future, you know? Young Spray wants to fight for my future. Leo wants to fight for my future. These brothers want to fight. Nana wants to... And it's going to give them a faith in themselves. But if they just hear man saying, you know what? It's cool. You know what I'm saying, fam? They're going to look at the thing and they might get the wrong message. So my main question to you, which you didn't answer just now, brother, is if there was an oppressor or a slave master, how would they want us to be thinking right now?
Come on.
That's the question that we all have to ask ourselves. If there's an oppressor and a slave master, what would they want us to do and what would they not want us to do?
They want to stay in the thing and they want us to rebel to get out of the thing, innit?
And what they want us to, what would they love to hear coming out our mouths? Oh, we don't need to anything negative, they love it. if there was a racist man in this room, he'd be clapping in his hand. But anytime we say something that's gonna liberate us, you understand? That's gonna make the devil man feel some type of way.
That's my opinion. It's calm out here, fam. That's my opinion.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
I've lived a lot of life, fam, and I know these streets. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? It's calm, fam. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's being over exaggerated. It's not that there's no problem, but it's being over exaggerated. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? Of course there's a problem. You know what the irony is? Stabbing up each other.
You know what the irony is?
One life,
back in the day,
but my little nephew
back in the day, do you know how much people got stabbed? All it was, man, weren't dropping out. Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? It's not nothing different, nothing ain't changed.
You know what? The irony is you're both right.
I don't think nothing.
Yeah? You're both right. That's the irony. I'll tell you why. That's not
the debate.
I'll tell you why. Yeah, it's not a disagreement. It's not a disagreement. What it is this information has been pushed out there to the point where black people even believe it, the hype. You understand? Black people actually believe it's only a black problem. It's only black kids that go to Scotland, go to those places, see who's killing who.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, go see who. You understand? We know what's going on, but what I'm saying is, this is where I slightly agree with but I agree with you also. Yeah, black life is precious. Yeah. The thing is, the youths them are going around killing each other because they don't value their life. They don't know who they are. So if you don't know who you are, if you're gonna rap to kill another black person,
no, you're not.
The two things are connected.
But my thing is, are we gonna wait for this to get to like
No. That's what
are we gonna wait for it to get to like Chirac? Because with that mentality, that's what we're gonna wait for. So my thing is, I don't care how good or bad it is. Yeah. If there's one black youth out there that's lost, one of the mottos: if we save one, the job is done. So we're not trying to save the whole world. But what we're saying is the one youth that we talk to that might think a little bit different, that might just lengthen his life. That's priceless, fam. And if we don't have that, and what I personally believe is the slave master has deliberately put a mentality to make the man them say, yo, fuck it. It don't matter. I believe that's the slave master's plan.
It's a self-hate thing.
I believe that's the plan. So if I hear anything like that,
we just have to done ourselves. We done ourselves. So basically, in our community, to go around and start. You get what I'm saying to you? Offering help for young people who's going through this situation themselves.
My man said it's exaggerated, but then again, if it being exaggerated, is that necessarily a bad thing? Because if it's not, I know, but I'm saying it being exaggerated.
Why is it exaggerated? That's a question.
How's that not a bad thing?
I'm saying that the fact it's exaggerated, then people are going to take it more seriously.
Yes.
But if you don't exaggerate it, then no one's going to take it seriously. It's going to continue doing the thing.
You're right.
And then it's going to keep on happening. It's going to repeat itself.
That's right.
If everyone exaggerates, take it over the top, then it's not going to get over the top again.
And you know what you just made me see? That it's not even being exaggerated. It's like the fact that we haven't been dealing with it.
Yes.
So Young Spray's seeing that, 10 years ago when I was killing my man, like, when well, no. 10 years ago when we was out here, no one wasn't saying all of this. So now when it's not even that much worse than it was in my time, you get me? Everyone's saying all this. I understand man's point, but what man don't understand is back then we should have been saying all of this. Back then we should have been this frantic. This is how we should have all been. You understand, fam? But like I said, the devil man, what he wants to do is desensitize us to ourselves. You understand? Desensitize us to when there's a death in our community. You understand? But we've got to see it as, anytime one of the man them goes, I see it literally as my brethren. When Mark Duggan went, I saw it literally as you. Like, I haven't met you, but now I bet you. But I could have met you if they didn't take you. It's the same thing I see when one of the man them die. I see it the same as like that could have been my son. That could have been my. Like, I literally, that's the spectacles I put on when I'm seeing these things. So I feel like that's where the passion comes from. Where I feel like they've tried to make us detach the thing and make when Young Spray's brethren dies, the brethren over there says, that's Young Spray's brethren. And then when the man dies over there, Young Spray says, that's their man's thing. They want us thinking like that. But if we're both having empathy for each other, that's going to bring us together, and that's better for the youth.
The point, just 1 second, the point that the young brother made, again, we often complain in these events that the youth are not here. Well, here's one of the young brothers here, and not only is he here, but he's made a valuable contribution, so we should big him up. And I'll say this, for some of us, it's been 30 years plus we've been warning on this. Long time. This ain't no localized, recent thing. We're just jumping on some bandwagon. We've been warning that this day was coming, and we're reaching a critical point now where this thing is, it is epidemic. It's real. There's some brothers mentioned Chi-Town, Chicago. The statistics say that it's worse than some war zones. in terms of the rate of death of black youth at the hands of other black youth. Never mind what the police and the enemies doing to us out there as well in the States. So this is real, and we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it. We need some men. I got to emphasize this. We need some soldiers. We need some black men who are willing to put aside Christianity, Islam, Rasta, and come together and let's build an army so that the next time they kill one of us, we can put 300. Next time the police kill one of us, we can put 300 around the particular police station, and that's not all our troops. We still got 5,000 back in the barracks. This is how we have to think as men. If we're going to get any respect in this world. Because as long as we are a divided rabble, everybody do their one thing and everybody over their side, everybody are top, but nobody's coming together, it will continue to happen and it will get worse.
Can I ask one question? What is the solution to the problem?
Unity.
But that's a word. That's just a word. Sorry.
So one solution that I gave forward is that if and it may never happen in this generation, it may happen in the next generation, but this is what I've been working towards. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna have a lot of the brothers, the main artists, you understand, a lot of the youth activists in the community, and you bring some sort of event together where they actually reach out to the younger demographic, yeah, where we actually reach out to the younger demographic. You know what I'm saying? So say if this just, like, obviously this might not happen, but say if every man in every end said, you know what, we're listening, we're going to lock off the ends, we're going to govern our own ends, we're going to have no antisocial behaviour happening on the block. The reason why we're going to do that is to deprive the police of revenue, because you know every time there's something antisocial behaviour happens, they get a phone call and that's actually funding the police. So we're realising that we're funding the police, so we're going to govern our own ends and we're going to stop all antisocial behaviour. We talk to the 12-year-olds and down, from ends to ends. You got the gang bosses saying, we talk to the 12-year-olds and down and we told them you're out of this thing. You can see that's what I showed you. I see it, fam. Man, come on, fam. The team's connected. The ancestors are anyway. Yeah. So you get the so the 12 So the 12-year-olds and down. You get the 12-year-olds and down, and like it's a nationwide call. You know what I'm saying? So all the 12-year-olds know you're out of this thing now. You understand? And then we start literally mixing up 12-year-olds from different ends to the point where if we was able to successfully execute that doesn't change what the man are doing above. You know, doesn't change the hustling. Doesn't change none of the lifestyle. You know what? You can still go rave and everything. But if we was to execute that successfully over 5 years, what those 12-year-olds are going to be in 5 years is 17-year-olds with a completely different ideology, and everyone underneath them is going to inherit that ideology. Now, one of the reasons why I do believe that the young G's will take to it is because when you're 11, 12, you've got something called common sense and innocence. You're just close to it. The system's just about to take it away from you through secondary school. Yes. Because you know, at the end of primary school, you've got the innocence, you want to be a builder, or you want to do something, and then you get into secondary school and everything goes away. You get me? So we're capturing them there, and I believe that I believe in them. I believe in their common sense to realise that the elders have got together to make us, so I can go from Peckham to Brixton. What we can all do what them lot couldn't do. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So that's a solution. That's one way that we can execute this.
What you touched on is the main thing. The oldest from the ends to be stamping at the thing that's going on the blocks and taking control of what's going on.
And you know all this and you know the only thing that's going to stop it is the man not having faith in themselves.
Thank you.
The actual brothers not having faith in him. Yeah, you get me? The actual, you know what I'm saying? That's going to stop.
That's what the point only gets.
People getting up from the communities and getting out there and making these things happen.
Stuff like this. On the same panel and stuff like this that we get us closer.
Black men, we're going to have a whole series of men's only meetings where we're going to be calling on black men to come together in this country, where we're going to talk to one another, and that's where we're going to make certain plans in order to execute what our brother is talking about. But I say this to you as well: understand this and remember this. There are nefarious, dark forces at the very top of this process of the drugs and the guns and the knives and the killings. Understand that once we start to make an impact in the black community, them man, they ain't gonna like it. Which is why, again, we have to be soldiers. We have to be disciplined. We have to be trained. We have to be an organized group of people in our communities. The Chinese, you can't go into Chinatown, anywhere up and down this country, and tell the Chinese, oh, you lot are racist because you all stick together and you got Chinatown in England. Chinese people will laugh you out of the place. You can't go and say that to Asian people. Asian people lock down things, they run things. Asian man is so powerful that he don't even have to put on the, if he become a police officer, don't even have to put on the helmet. He can just put the badge upon the turban. That's power. Whereas the Rasta man going to the court, they don't even respect his time, his crown. Take it off. And if he refuses, they'll get the bailiffs and the police to hold him down and remove it.
Not all of them, not all of them.
Well, they do, but I've witnessed it myself. This is how they're treating these people. But my point is this: we have to come together as black men, and when we do that, we gotta build a community, build a structure that our young people will be inspired by. And they won't need to go down the road where some man can come and take them off and tell them all that, and you know what I mean, give them some trainers and give them some tracksuit and give them some this or give them a little car or whatever, because this is what's happening. The children are literally being kidnapped by these older nefarious forces who themselves are getting their things. Let me just say this last thing. See, because most of us, if we wanted some coke tonight, we know who the coke dealer is. You think the police don't know who the coke dealer is? But he never gets moved off the block. But you go out there and you say, oh, you're gonna go and do a bit of juggling right now. You last about a week, 2 days, you're gone. Because a lot of these dealers are authorized dealers. They're authorized dealers. You got to understand there's some forces that behind a lot of this stuff that we know nothing about. And we think that, oh, these youth, they're just like they're manufacturing. They're manufacturing nothing. They're being fed and they're being used, and older men are using them because they reason that, well, if he gets arrested, he ain't gonna get what I would get because I'm older. So this is the game that's being played. So we got to understand all of these elements, and as men,
I don't even think they're thinking he's not going to get as much. They're just thinking if he's
They
arrested,
don't care. They don't care. Exactly. That's the point. They're being used.
Quick. I mean, I agree. I've just come here late, and I was here earlier on, and I came here late, and I heard the discussion, so I came back specifically because I wanted to hear my brother over there speak. I spent 2 years in Egypt. I brought all my sons them down as well. 2 years. Studying the first civilization on God's earth, where religion comes from, science and mathematics, as we know, comes from. Now you ask yourself the question, who did these people call God? And when you understand that for sure, you understand why you have the religion and why you have this hatred towards self. Why European gives you God, which serves as a detriment to self. You understand? And from that, everything comes from. That's a lot we remember with Raspect. With Raspect.
He's there.
That Ras. That's why I was looking for the answer. How you gonna believe in yourself if you don't know God? Come on. Yes, I say. You have to know God to love yourself in order to come together so we can bond together under one understanding, one golden thread. And who's God? Is it Muslim? A man say, dealing with religion. Black people are spiritual people. They're not religious people. They are spiritual people. Listen me now. So let me stop, let me done. Let me say now. You see the sun that shines out every day? It is the light of this world. And who it look like more than anybody around here?
Come on, brother. Who does it enhance?
It is the God himself. God give you eyes to see. He never give you a book to read. You understand? You come out to your mother, you see light. And that light there, bond me and everybody who look like me together. So when I'm calling my son and my son them friend and say, come together. I mean, I say come together because they like you or you're from that end or you're this and no. We come together under one understanding that the sun that shines every day and bless all living things have a direct relationship with you.
Come on, bro.
You see me, I say? So that is what me put it in my heart. And anybody look like me, I show them love and respect. No matter if they don't show themselves love and respect. I show them love. And in that now, I come together with them. And we can move together under one narrative. So when the white man bring up William's system and use his system against us, as I said, to the education system, teach you to be a fool to yourself. I went to university here, 2 universities, yeah? And I go see professors molesting little young students, big professor of him name, of him book, author in the library, and the same man I'm listening little kids, students coming to school. Where's the moral content? And yet he's a professor. So it's not to do with academic European aspirations. It's to do with your own inspiration, but you have to have the inspiration come from understanding self. And nature is the creator of self. And with the creator of nature, the sun itself. That I'm asking everybody to understand. Anybody look like you, love them, show them respect. Because the sun is the creator of all things, and you have a direct relationship with it. That's why black people don't create weapons of mass destruction, as Elder said earlier on. The white man talk about unity. You see me, I say, no matter how them fight and kill one another, they kill most of one than each other. Yeah? And yet them talk about unity. We don't create weapons of mass destruction. You understand? But yet we are, our brain, Willie Lynch, our brains are being conditioned to hate self. That's it. So as you hate yourself now, that manifests in many ways, and you're able to be fooled and tricked. Like the youth man kill one another, people are bleaching skin and all these things, and look at white people as beautiful and so on. And not understanding that the sun that shines over there, that they depend on, and all living things depend on, have a direct relationship with you more than anybody else. When you get to realize that, you can send yourself out in space and track the Orion belt and track the stars them with your energy that lies within. You see me, I say, that's the great thing of black man.
Yeah, just backing you up, brother. That knowledge of self. And the reason why I'm not going to disrespect this brother, or I'm not going to disrespect this brother, I'm not going to disrespect you, because I know who you are. See? And you're the same as me. And we're all from the one God. And if I disrespect him, I'm disrespecting God. You understand what I'm saying? That's the beauty of the word brother. In the word brother, you have the word other. In the word mother, you have the word mother, you have the word other. See, a mother, she's got no choice, brother. From the time that baby comes out, even before it comes out, in the 9 months of gestation, she got a responsibility, if she understands.
But science says every action have an equal and opposite reaction. That's right. If you're good, good follow good, and bad follow bad. Yes, it's just a natural, it's nature. Absolutely. It's physics. Absolutely. You see me, I say? So, cause and effect. Cause and effect. Yes, sir. So that's the point, brother. Your point is well taken, brother. In the Nation of Islam, we're taught who is the original man. The original man is the Asiatic black man. The planet used to be called Asia. Earth is a English word. English is a brand new language. It's bastardized. It's made up of other people's language. Who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the God of the universe. When I see you, I know who I'm looking at. I'm looking at God. God is a man. God is black people. But the enemy knows this. And he wants us to think that we are, listen to what we call each other now, dogs. And all this, the opposite. We've now gone down to the lowest level in terms of the names that we call one another.
Yeah, but that's all subjective, brother. You know why?
I understand,
but the reason why, because you got Anubis in Egypt and he was a dog, yeah. And the reason why they used Anubis in Egypt for the dog is because Anubis is the one. He's the one that when you go to Ma'at and you're going to the next life, he's the one that guides you through. You get me? And if you're a blind man. What is gonna guide you is your dog. And when I had my dog, one minute, Papa G, 1 minute, please. Yeah. And when I had my dog, like if you ever had a dog, I don't know, like you get me, but if you had a dog, you know that. Yeah. So you know that you have a connection with each different pet that you have. You know what I'm saying? And you know that your dog is loyal. So when we call each other dog, you get me. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to come from there. That's subjective. It could be from the loyalty and the. You get me? It's even the word nigger. It's even the word nigger.
Before you go on, you see the dog star represents the North Star. That's what the dog star represents. It's not a dog. It just represents the dog, the lion.
I feel like what we're doing now is
or in the heavens. They're not, you know what I'm saying? So when these African people are called call it the dog star is because the last star that goes down at night, the North Star.
Family.
The pointer up to the north.
I literally have like 1 minute before I have to go, because I have another appointment. I have to meet somebody. But I just wanted to say, I do believe that I thank Brother Nana for making this happen, and
we'll make it happen again as well.
Yeah,
we're gonna make it happen again.
I'm thankful and grateful to all of the panelists, even though some of them are not here now, for their participation, and for the audience who have contributed. I really appreciate you allowing me to come and say a few words to you. And I pray that something that's been said by one of the panelists, somebody here, has been inspiration for you to realize, as I said, that you can change your reality. They used to let me into Wormwood Scrubs prison to speak to black prisoners. We started a black prisoners group in there. In prison, when you have a class in the evening, they have classes, they may have pottery or Greek or something like that. If you get 10 people coming to your class, you got a good class, you're doing well. 10 prisoners coming to your class of an evening. Within 3 weeks of being in Wormwood Scrubs, we had 80 black men in that class. Within 6 months, the governor called us into the office, red-faced. We're terribly sorry, but we think you may be uniting the men, because they pay lip service to rehabilitation. But we have a track record of being able to take men off of that treadmill of recidivism, crime and punishment, and turning their lives around. I've been there. I was one of them.
100%.
Okay? And they don't want that, because the criminal industrial complex is a massive money spinner. Big money. And so they don't really want crime to end. And so I'm really saying, brothers and sisters, let's appreciate that we can change things. We have that power. I loved what you said, brother, because black people, you got energy, man. I mean, real energy. You got a connection to the creator of the heavens and the earth. And if you would just become that spiritual being that you really are again. And I like what the young lady said earlier on. She talked about something to do with metaphysics in terms of being a spiritual person. But you know that you need to get quiet sometimes. Whenever if you can get an opportunity during the day to just get quiet, especially in the early hours of the morning, meditate, talk to yourself, talk to your God. God hears. The energy is real. You can make things happen. You can determine your day. You can determine today is going to be a good day. You have power. Stop giving your power over to that which is not worthy of you. You have the power.
Come on.
I eat one meal every 24 hours for the last 30 years. Nothing in between. You have that kind of power. I'm a vegetarian. You know, people say, oh, if you don't eat meat, you're just dead off. No, look at the elephant, man. Look at the elephant. It's a leaf eater. We don't need all of these foods that we eat and all of this experimentation where we just put anything down our neck that's given to us. So I'm out of here. I've got to go. But I'm just saying to you that I appreciate you. I hope that you will make things like this happen again, brother. And I pray that when you hear the call from us in the nation, because we're going to be calling on black men, we're going to be challenging black men, because we intend to make a change in this country. The nation was big in this country in the 90s, but we've been under severe attack, internally and externally. Believe me, they don't like this brother here sitting in front of you. They are working overtime to try to destroy us. But we intend, this is me personally talking to you now as a personal thing, I intend to die with my boots on as a soldier. I don't want to die. Hear me well. I'm not talking no bravado like the brave. I don't want to die. I love life. I want to see my children get old. I want to see them have children. I want to see great grandchildren. But if I should go tomorrow, I will go as a man with balls, with testicular fortitude, not some coward punk hiding under my bed, hiding under my quilt. It's not going to happen. That's not even my turn. That's the Honourable Minister Lewis Farrakhan. That's Minister Farrakhan. Put it in one of your raps, brother. Testicular fortitude.
Come on.
Yeah? So that's not mine. I got it from the minister. And so that's what we intend to do. We intend to make a change in this country. We intend to make an impact. We want to work with our brother Raspect and these young brothers who are highly motivated, and they're warriors. They're a warrior class. In the scripture, they're called the Joshua generation.
Yeah,
Joshua generation. They bring down the wall. And so this is our plan. You know, this is going to go out, and the enemy is going to see this. And they need to understand that the black community is not dead. And so, brothers, sisters, come out, man. Support. Let's do this, because we have to make a difference in this country. Thank you. Thank you. May Allah bless you.
Personally, with me, I'm not I'm on unity if it's gonna happen, but I don't believe in unity, so to speak.
Moving up, still in that. Your soldiers moving up and still in that. Yes.
Respect so much. Thank you.
Yes,
soldier.
Thank you. Hello, Russ. Yeah, with this unity thing, I personally, I don't think black people, well, I don't want to say that, that's negative. I think it's going to be very hard for black people to unite, yeah? And the reason why I say that is even little things that happen in this room, we're all so different. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily believe in unity as the first step. I believe in something called solidarity. And this is something that the Europeans practice very well, because they'll be fighting in the European EU, they'll be having arguments, and in the minute a country rises up, which they don't want, they'll all unite to hold that country down. Do you know what I'm saying? So I believe black people should have the same mindset. Yeah, we might not all agree, but if someone gets getting brutalized outside, when we march to that end, you shouldn't know the religious or the political differences between you and the person next to you. We don't need to know any of that, like what you were saying, that was the problem. We don't need to have any of them conversations. All we've got to do is 100 of us, 50 of us, 10 of us, 200 of us, 500 of us need to link up, march to the ends, have a good time, and go home. We don't need to be saying, oh yeah, right now, and my God, and because that's when we're going to all start getting into debates, the semantics. But if we can stand in the solidarity for just a goal, so the goal might be the 12-year-olds on that one, and next goal might be promoting businesses, and next goal might be, but I feel like that's what I'm on. I'm on solidarity and going towards a goal. So that's what we're on still. You get me?
But I'd like to conclude by saying that that obviously, does anyone here employ people? Is there any employers here? Right. The reason my way of making change is to employ my community.
That's
right?
it.
I'm a business owner, I'm an independent business owner, right? Nothing was ever given to me. Everything I've got, I've worked for. Now I've got something. If I can offer my services, my skill sets to anyone, it's gonna be my people. So me, I talk from a position of doing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I talk from a position of doing. I find that a lot of people we can debate as much, but action is the most important thing. Talking is great, but if you're not doing anything, then talking is just conjecture.
That's it.
So that's how I'm gonna finish.
Love that. Any other questions before we wrap up? Anyone got any questions?
Yeah, I just want to close my closing. Yeah, I'm going to close this with Invisible Tears out now.
Promotion. Yeah, come on, plug it.
All online stores and HMV.
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks for having me.
That's it. Love that.
It's been a pleasure. All I can say is, flipping, I don't think anyone's wrong or right. You know what I'm trying to say? Everyone's got their own opinions in it. So.
No, it's valid. No questions, no? No, okay. Wrap up. All right, last one.
Yes, like that.
You're a little troublemaker though.
Yeah, it's good though. It's good. It's like my
troublemaker.
You know my name.
Mobilization. I'm definitely on the snow.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, for Russ. Okay.
Sir Dan, what for my thing? Is that how you got it? Yeah. Oh, Sir Dan.
Only flipping guy that came from.
Bro, yes, man. Definitely. Yes.
Oh, God, you saying big time. You give me a hard time, man. Man said that. Solid. Giving me a hard time still.
Bro?
Yes, brother.
Yeah?
No, brother. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
But at times it got a bit chaotic and...
Yeah. It's alright, man. It's a good one. It's a good one. Cause all of that is good. Like it's a good. It's because it's real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's real black people. It's not someone trying to be fake. So that's the main thing. You get me? Cause everyone can relate to that. Cause that's how. Cause there's gonna be people screaming at their screen saying, so if they can see us doing that as well, they'll know. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that we come out on a oneness, that's the main thing every time, fam. How we disagree, that never matters. It's how we end. Are we gonna end like this, or are we gonna end like this? Yes. When we end like that, bro, that's the example that we need to be showing to the next generation. My man's on this thing. You see the thing my man's writing, but it's like my man's in my head, fam.
Fam, when you're saying what you're saying, I'm not thinking you're in my head. I'm saying to you. Trust me.
You get me? Yes, trust me. We've got the same dream, fam.
Yeah, definitely. So it's about uniting and
what man said is in every end, there's a brother that's plotting this. Every end. So all we got to do is
we're putting it together.
Link up all of them, definitely. And then it's a shutdown because they represent their ends where that's concerned. Even, like, I know from my ends, if you go to my ends and you say, someone for politics, like, man's going to point at Raspect. If you ask to go to your end, I know someone's going to point towards you. You know what I'm saying? So that's once we link up with all those guns, it's a wrap.
Some weed, Raspect.
I've got you, bro.
Oh, did you get the pic, man?
No, leave it there.
Come on, man.
It's not artist. Make sure you get this set. This guy's mad. Let me take the gun. Turn up on him. Let me get away with it. You get me? That was me. You know, it's not going to speak. Wicked. Heavy. I can't believe it. For the culture, it's a face. Shut up, it's a crazy. For the culture, I'm not for the shut up, it's a crazy. For the culture, I'm not for the crazy. Pull it. Man. Bro. Yeah, listen. I'm not preaching, but all that thing on time, man, I'm speaking about it. I didn't know.
Sorry.
See, crazy for the heart, man.
Is it?
What do you mean the brothers? I ain't seen the brothers.